see you, Bobby.
Just a minute. I'm doing it right now. Let's see. Wait a minute. What is that? Hi. Just a second, honey. I'm getting Bobby on a. There we go.
Are you covered? Nobody had any concerns about the smell all week?
I didn't hear of any complaints. Alexis, did you hear anybody complain about Michigan sugar?
No, I didn't get any complaints, but it did stink.
You drive by there, it stinks.
It's awful.
I know it stinks, but
Alexis, do we have anybody else waiting to come on?
I don't see anyone waiting. No.
I don't know if Tish is back in yet, or Brian.
Brian and Tisha.
Brian's not going to be able to make this.
Alvin's not back with the shed either.
He was here a minute ago, but I
He
don't.
was. He's calling me. Yes, sir. What was that? It's a whole different meeting. No, you gotta log back in. Right, are you looking at your email?
There's another meeting under the bottom of it.
I'll take a picture of the right number for you and send it to you right now. All right. Alvin's having technical difficulties here. I gotta send him the login info.
That's all right. We can wait a minute or two.
Yeah, and Tisha too, probably.
She was just joining. Okay, she should be in.
Okay.
Let me in, Alexis. Alexa, you're not going to send no country music? How about rock and roll?
Oh gosh, no.
Fish is back.
Alvin will be back in just a second here. As soon as my slowpoke butt gets him the picture. Okay, I got it, Joanne. You should be back on here in a couple seconds.
Okay.
He tried to log back into the finance committee meeting.
Told you guys I'm not feeling that great. It has nothing to do with COVID, but I'm still not feeling great. So if I jump back off, just
Yeah, go ahead. If you got to, you got to.
Joe, did you get a chance to send those out to everybody or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Tisha, did you get a chance to look over that? Moving Tuscola County forward?
No, I
No.
got the email, but I didn't. I mean, I saw that I had an email, but I didn't read it.
Got
Gotcha.
the thing from the county, Don?
Yes. Did you get it?
I got it, but I did not read it.
I read the county.
It's,
Is it the
that's what
same
we
thing?
sent out to counties.
Oh, okay. I
did
read
read-
the
I did
county's
read county
thing when
on
they
it, but-
first did it. I read the county's resolution when they first put it out. So,
Let's call the meeting to order with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Zoom, all that. All right, hang on.
You see Alvin coming on?
Not yet.
Okay,
For me? All right, it is.
We're going on to the agenda approval.
5122.
Agenda approval. Let's add number 12 to discuss that county resolution.
Okay.
Are there any other additions?
What was I'm sorry, Joe. I was getting Alvin hooked up. What was?
12, we added the county resolution.
Oh, okay.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the agenda.
I'll second it.
Got motion and support. Any further discussion?
Gravity, done.
Alexis, roll call vote.
Aschenbecker,
Yes.
Hall,
He just left a minute. Hang on.
okay.
Yes.
Jones Halbeck,
yes.
Rickwell absent. White,
Yeah.
Zavit,
I don't see him yet.
He said he was waiting. Did you hook him in? He said he was waiting for you to accept him.
don't see him popping up here.
I see him, but
I see him.
He's at the bottom of my screen.
Yeah, I admitted him.
You got him? Okay, so I see him in now.
but Alvin's muted yet.
Yeah, I think he's.
Okay, now he's unmuted.
You with us, Alvin?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe now he's gonna come in.
All right, and then, so Zavit,
Yes.
yes. Mayor Green,
yes. Alvin, you need to turn on your video. That's what he needs. Are there any published comments or comments from visitors?
Brian did send an email that he wanted me to read for public comment. So I'll start with that. I'm not able to attend this meeting. However, I do have some concerns on the agenda topics. Number one, Caro Center water supply. Do we have a state written commitment to fund this development? Number two, invoices. Why the $275 expense to Gamble's Gun Shop? Now, why Chris Olson payment of $16.10? Number six, splash pad. We started out with a budget expectation of $200,000 Now we are up to 300,000. Can we trim back to 200K? What is the estimated light package cost? A council member brought up an example of Harrison, Michigan splash pad project that had an extreme cost overrun. Our manager was asked to investigate Harrison as to factual circumstance. Matt was going to look into it as this was his hometown. Any advice to share in this situation? Please consider my concerns in my absence. Brian Rickwald. So I just wanted to say the $275 expense to Gamble's Gun Shop was ammunition for the police department. The payment to Chris Olson was a cell phone allowance check that was never cashed. We have to turn in all unclaimed property to the state by June 1st, so a letter was sent to him and he confirmed that he never received it or it was lost or stolen, so we reissued the check.
Are there any more public comments? Okay, move on to communications, Caro Center water supply feasibility study, pages 2 through 13. Are there any questions about it? I saw Mike Carpenter's on the. I feel it's fairly well explains everything. As long
I
as,
guess my question is to Mike. Are you there, Mike?
yes, he's muted, but
Okay. Well, I guess my question is, if we're going to put this 12-inch main from the city where we hook on to the Caro Center, which is fine, and it does do everything that they're asking us to do, is this going to be enough to say if they build that doctor's office outside there, do we have water there now where they want to put that?
Where,
no, we don't.
what doctor's office?
Well, there was a proposal that the Putnams wanted to put a medical mall out there on their land.
There's no water past the Ford garage, if that helps.
Okay, that does help. This would be past the Ford garage.
Correct.
Okay, is this 12-inch water main, if I was to build another 2-story building there, I guess like about 4,600 square feet,
46,000.
square feet. Do I have enough to supply the Caro Center and hook this new building into it? Another building into it.
More than likely, because the main design is for fire flow, not domestic flow. So, you know, you don't have to assume that everybody's on fire at once. So
I hope not, but
I would assume that, I mean, especially if we're just talking, you know, a little ways down the road from the Ford garage in that area, that, yeah, there would be plenty of water for domestic flow, and there would be plenty of fire flow as well. So
okay, because I don't want to put just a 12-inch water main out here, and then we send this out to the state, and now this medical plaza goes in, and now I don't have enough water to supply to the state or to this place.
well, under your current system, I mean, we're tying into a 12-inch, so
Okay,
12-inch is probably about the biggest main that you would want to build,
all right.
unless you had some really aggressive in upgrades in mind in the, you know, in the future to the point
Well,
where you'd be utilizing a bigger main.
I just want to make sure that if this does go, we have the adequate stuff there to, all they got to do is tap in and go with this, okay?
Yeah. I mean,
No.
basically the 8-inch would be the minimum main
that ain't gonna get
permittable,
done anyway, so,
and the 12-inch would be the maximum size permittable based on what we're tying into,
Okay.
is how we were looking at it.
all right, that's what I wanted to know, if we had enough water that we could supply extra customers on this main and still get water pressure to the Caro Center.
Yes.
Okay,
Simple answer, yes.
all right. I'm good with it.
My other question is, have we forwarded this to the Caro Center, the engineers, and have they accepted, really accepted this size and everything, what we're saying?
Matt, do you want to take that or you want me to do it?
You can answer.
To my knowledge, no, Joe. I submitted it to the city for their review. I did share verbally what was in the report with a few individuals from the state, just give them a heads up that this is what the report says. And it basically says what it said 2 years ago. I mean, we just reconfirmed that the main that we were looking at 2 years ago is still the main that needs to be constructed.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure that council had the opportunity to make comments on it and to review it before we sent it off to them in case there was anything that struck you as odd or anything like that. So, once, after tonight, we'll send all that stuff to them.
Well, I would recommend we send it to them and we get a response back from them that they're buying into it. Are there any additional questions?
No, not on that.
Okay, let's move on to the consent agenda. Regular council minutes, pages of May 4th, pages 14 through 16. Invoices, page 17. Department reports, police report, 18 through 28. Fire report, 29. Code enforcement, 30. DPW reports, 31 through 34. Wastewater treatment, 35 through 38. Municipal parking, page 39.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
On the code enforcement, or the April 20th, anyway, 2 weeks ago, or yes, 2 meetings ago, we got a list from Randy in code enforcement, and there were 25 items that were either a 5-day notice, a 10-day notice, a $500 fine. All of that, from what I can read, is still outstanding. We have no feedback on how any of those were resolved, if they have been resolved, or what happens to them. We have 4 new things this time, 10-day notice, 3-day notices, but there's no action. There's no, I don't understand.
I'm with you, Jill. I'm lost. I know somebody that has talking about Blake, I know somebody has a tent, and I asked them if they've heard anything. They'd like nothing. And they've had it since last year, and how long ago did we make it a new ordinance?
I mean, it's wonderful to issue these notices, but what happens to them? It appears like nothing does.
So when COVID-19 started, we put a moratorium on new enforcements until I think tomorrow. So he's going to be going out tomorrow and contacting everybody and then starting enforcing new things. So that's that. Now, something that's been there for a year, I don't have an answer for, but for the last little while, it was because we were taking it easy on folks. But now that things are starting to, start to look a little bit normal, we're ramping everything back up.
are there any other questions on the department reports? Entertain a motion then?
Make the motion to accept the consent agenda as read.
I'll second it.
We got motion and support. Alexis?
Roll call, so we got Hall,
Yes.
Jones, Hollaback,
Yes.
Rickwell absent, White,
Yeah.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Aschenbacher,
Yeah.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Regular agenda, open public hearing, proposed ordinance 476, amended light ordinance, page 40 through 41. And our change in this ordinance, we're changing it from up to 20, you can now have your trash out 24 hours, up to 24 hours before, and have your cans in 24 hours after. That's our change. Are there any public comments or council discussion?
No?
Yes, Don?
No.
No?
I have nothing, Joe.
Are there any public comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes?
I did have a comment from the chief in an email he sent. He had reviewed the proposed ordinance, and he says that since it lists time and day, there's no way of knowing when someone's trash is picked up or if it could be from the previous week or for the next week. And he said he would have to enforce it after hours. So those were his comments.
Basically, the way I look at it, you put your trash out on Wednesday. You know, if it's out before Wednesday, it's out too early.
Mhm.
And if your cans are still out there Saturday,
They're out too late.
too late.
Yep.
I agree.
So,
I think it's just that simple.
Sounds pretty simple to me.
is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Is there any public that wants to comment on this? Do you see any there?
No, I don't.
I don't either, but make the motion to close the public hearing.
That's support.
You got motion and support. Is there any further discussion? If none, Alexis?
All right, roll call. Jones, Hollebeck,
No.
Rickwalt, absent. White,
Yes.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Eschenbacher,
Yeah.
Hall,
Yes.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion
Hey,
carried.
Robert. Judge Judy says, what kind of answer is yeah?
Who does?
Judge Judy, it's yes.
Oh, excuse me, Judge Judy.
Okay, number 5, water main extension to the Caro Center Design Engineering Service Proposal, pages 40 through 48. Matt?
Yeah, the Caro Center project's been going on for quite a while, as you know. As I mentioned in my memo, we're getting to a point now where the timeline for engineering the project is pretty much here. Rowe has been working on it since the original proposal a couple years ago, and they've been kind of spearheading the technical aspects. And this is just kind of a new, it's sort of a rehash of the previous proposal from Rowe when the project was going to move forward the first time before the governor paused the project. And so in order to get it engineered and get it ready to go, we have to have Rowe do that work for us. And this is the professional services agreement to ensure that takes place. And I know Brian had the question about the cost of this being paid for by the state. And at the moment, there is no written agreement for that. But the state's looking for a commitment from us for all intents and purposes to continue a positive partnership. And so I think this sends that signal to them. And the estimated engineering cost for the water main extension includes the design work. So if they agree to that, then they will most likely be paying in some sort of reimbursement for the design work of it. And that's a conversation that we'll start having with the state pretty soon, hopefully, once we get the feasibility study to them, and once we talk to them about the things that they're asking for. And so Mike's on the line if you have any specific detailed questions, but that's what this is for. And you know, when I first started, I heard the term "Save the Caro Center," and that's kind of what this does. It's the first like major step towards getting that water line out there.
So, Mike, if you're
Yes, sir.
there,
Yep.
your price here include on this last sheet that you paid. It's page 48 for me, but it's listed everything that you're going to do from like June 1 to 2021. Is that
So
is
the
that the
draft
price you
schedule
want?
you're referring to?
Huh?
The draft schedule is what you're referring to?
Project schedule draft, yes.
Yep,
So this is what you're going to do for that price, correct?
correct. Well,
And did we or did we not have some of this done? Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, but did we or did we not have some of this done prior to her shutting us down?
we had a little bit of the survey office work done, which I included that or made reference to that in the you know, the 2020 design reference. We haven't increased, so to speak, the cost of the topo survey because we did a little bit of that 2 years ago. So,
Okay.
and that's like research, finding the right, you know, getting the right of way from MDOT and getting the plats around and that kind of stuff. So that work we won't have to do again. We still have it. So we you know, quote unquote, gave you credit for that. But back to your first question, the proposal that you have in your hand will take us through, not all the way to the end. It'll take us through bidding documents.
Okay. So opening the bids is where you cut off the line on that, right?
Correct.
Okay. So then there would be another proposal for you to inspect this job. Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
So if I'm seeing things on page 45, you have total 119.2 with the survey phase being 25,000. And then the design phase is 90.
Correct. And that also includes redoing the report that you guys just looked at which cost $3,800 to redo that report. And the modeling and all that went with it.
So when do we kick into the 119,000 phase?
Well, I suppose
Or the
technically,
90, sorry, the 90th part.
that wouldn't be necessarily right away. The 25,000 would be starting to click off. If you approve this tonight, we would start, you know, that effort, like our schedule says, in the next 2 weeks, looking to start the topo in June. We have to give MDOT
Right.
a week's notice to be in there right away. So that's why there's a little bit of a lag there.
Sure.
But the actual, you know, the actual hardcore design wouldn't start until, you know, in June a little bit. We might get some of the kickoff stuff going, but until that survey's done, there's only so much we can do. And the survey wouldn't be done under the draft schedule. It wouldn't be ready for us to work on until into July. So our main design effort wouldn't start until July.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is sort of a tight time schedule because they want water out there by July of 21. Their construction's not going to be done then, but the building's going to be needing it. So they want commitment from us that we're moving forward.
Yeah, they've asked for on 1st of July. We're trying to at least get the month of July from them, but Joe's correct. That's what they've asked for.
Yeah, and as you can see in my memo, I kind of broke out that 25,000 as being a potential expense for this year. So
Sure.
it would be prudent to do a budget adjustment just in case we have some of that expenditures as well. So that's part of the requested action.
So basically, we need a motion to give Rowe Engineering the okay to get started.
It's on the bottom of page 42, Don.
Oh, sorry.
So is the city going to be financially okay if we get stuck paying the $2.64 million if the state decides to back out of their commitment? Are we going to be able to do this?
Well, I don't think we'll get much past design if we don't have an agreement in place pretty
Right.
fast. So that I don't think, I mean, we can eat a couple $100,000 if that ends up happening, which knock on wood, it won't, because I think they need to do this. But there will be a point at which we'll have to say, okay, this is going on too long without a specific agreement. And I don't think we'll get there, but if we do, then we'll have to cut it off at some point. But I don't foresee that, but there's always the possibility.
And the way, oh, this is bringing up stuff for later on, the way they talked on our conference call, the project is even with all the cutbacks that the state might have to do, this money is set aside for this
Yeah.
project.
Yeah,
know.
this money is supposedly in their budget as we're speaking to do this project.
And
There
it
was no
can't,
money cut from this.
yeah, some of the demo
Yeah.
might be cut,
But
yes.
as far as this building and hospital was concerned, this money is there according to the state budget office.
And they already said they were going to pay. We just don't know how or when, correct?
Yes,
Well, they have to have an agreement from us.
Right. I understand that, but I'm just saying they already said they were going to pay for it.
Yeah, essentially what they said is it'll be some kind of like reimbursement process where the city will send them invoices and they'll pay it.
Gotcha.
But obviously we'll write that down and sign something, but
Right. of
essentially
course.
that's the route that we're gonna assume we're gonna go in.
that would be our next step to get, I'm assuming with Miller Canfield, that's who did the last deal with, or do, I don't know if we're going to be using them, but that's who we had talked to before about a bond issue, if we had to bond this whole deal. But they probably did the sewer one, if I recall, and there's a sewer agreement with them. So it'd probably be a take off of that agreement, but for water with them and us, you know.
Yeah,
So-
That's the
I
next
did
draft
find that
item.
agreement, and
Pardon?
I did find a copy of that agreement, so I've got it scanned in. The one thing we would, I think we should probably approach it in terms of finding out the substantive stuff first, and then having, whether it's Miller Canfield or someone else, kind of put the shape around it, because it's from like
Yes.
1984, and some of the legal references, I don't know, they might be out of date, but that's
Oh, but that was for sewer, that was joint with the two townships.
Yep.
This would be for us and the state.
One thing to maybe point out, Matt, and I don't know if you got my email yet, but on one of the pages of that old sewer agreement, and of course this, that was then and this is now, but the state did agree back then to pay all the costs, construction costs, the engineering costs, the legal costs, the finance cost, all of that was included back then. And that would be a standard thing to expect. But then again, who knows for sure, but in every estimate we've given them thus far, particularly in the estimate that you have as part of the report, that was given to them a month or two ago. So as an update, so they've seen that, they've seen legal fees, they've seen engineering fees, design and construction. So they've seen all of that. So hopefully it won't be a surprise. And then as far as getting past the plans, really until there's an agreement in place, until we know how the project's paid for, we really can't advertise it for bids, because we'll have to know. I mean, you hadn't ought to be bidding out a project until you know how it's going to get paid for, and unless you feel you got enough money sitting in the bank, which I doubt that's the case, but or that you want to use that money for this. But so I think that this is all going to come to a head pretty quick once we get closer to wanting to bid it out, because those agreements need to be in place, and the city has to be financially sound on not bidding out a project without a plan to pay for it.
So if we do this motion for the 25,000 for you guys to get started, the plan, Joe, would be to get the state to agree to some kind of payback method before we get into the next phase. So worst case scenario, we would be out to 25,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion that we pay Row Engineering the design and engineering for the water main extension of the Caro Center of 25,000.
I second
I'll
it.
support.
I have a question.
Yes.
So is it the motion to approve the agreement and then do the budget adjustment for 25,000, or to only pay Row 25,000? Because that's kind of what it sounded like.
What do we need to do, Matt?
It's
A budget
really,
adjustment.
it's
Do we want to do
really
the budget adjustment?
approving the agreement with Row.
I'll make that motion, Matt, that we approve this agreement
Okay.
with
And
Row
then,
Engineering.
yeah, and then the budget adjustment is just the second thing to get that $25,000 available in the water fund.
Okay, that's
I'll
fine.
second it.
Yeah, motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Everybody understands?
Yeah.
All right, we've got roll call. White,
Yes.
Zabit,
Just keep going
Yes.
by the wayside. I have to get-
Aschenbacher,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Rick Walt absent, Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Number 6, Vortex Splash Pad, Park and Rec's recommendation 49 through 56.
Mr. Mayor, just really quick, I noticed that it didn't look like council took any action on the ordinance. It looks like you just opened and closed the public hearing.
Yes.
Okay, let's move back up to number 4. Action on proposed ordinance 476.
I thought we voted on that.
We
We
voted.
We
did.
did.
You voted to close the public hearing, but we.
Oh, we
didn't.
didn't vote on the action itself.
Yeah.
Can I entertain a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll entertain it.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and support. Any further discussion?
I thought we were voting on the other thing. Sorry.
Okay, we'll do roll call. Rick Walt absent, White,
Yes.
Zabit,
Yes.
Aschenbacher,
Yeah.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hollenbeck,
No.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Now we moved on to number 6, Vortex Splash Pad, Park and Rec's recommendation, pages 49 through 56. Did everybody read the write-up?
Yep.
We have option 1 to move forward, option 2 to motion to deny the recommendation to the Parks and Recs, motion 3 to approve the recommendation of the Parks and Recs and with modifications, remove the lighting package to reduce costs. And motion 4 to direct the city manager to bid elsewhere.
I do have an answer to the question about the city of Harrison, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
I spoke with the city manager there. She advised that the splash pad part of the project was only about $75,000 they ended up paying, because it was just a flat surface with some nozzles that shoot water up. They don't actually have a play structure or anything. It was actually part of a larger project that was $600,000. They built a band shell, a bathroom, and then they basically took 3 city lots right in the middle of the city and turned it to a town square. So there's a lot of other general contractor work that they did there. And the issues that they had were not involved with the splash pad whatsoever. They actually just had to take the contractor to court to get him to finish the job. But the price ended up only being about $600,000 for that project. So that was kind of a, I guess it was sort of a rumor that was floating around about the
So
pricing
the
and things
problem
like that.
had nothing to do with the splash pad part.
No, in the splash
Because
pad, they,
theirs wasn't a splash pad. It was just water feature.
Yep, yep. They actually use that area for seating. It's actually pretty flat except for the drain angle, so that they can set up chairs there for concerts in the summertime if they turn the water off. So it's not a comparison to the splash pad project that we're working on.
I'll make a motion that we go with option one. Of the
I'll
splash
second it.
pad.
I'll second it.
We got motion and support to go with option one. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say this, that the people that I've talked to have said if we go with this at this particular point in time, not just, I don't know how to really word it, but because of COVID-19, that the optics look really bad. Just like we were saying earlier about water rates, if we raise water rates right now, the optics look really bad. That if we try to build a water park right now in the midst of a pandemic, it looks really bad. But other than that, I support the rest of it.
But here's my thought. Can we vote on what we're going to do here and tell Vortex that we want in on their list? Maybe not for this year because of, like you said, the COVID, but can we get on their list for next spring to do this?
I would say,
And I agree with you, Tisha, that us buying a splash pad, putting one in now does look pretty bad because we're spending money and nobody else has got a job, no money. Okay, but I think we should get.
It's not just that, but to put in a thing for entertainment
Right,
when
that they can't
everything
use.
else for entertainment
Right,
is
that they
closed
can't use.
down.
You're right.
Looks like a poor use of money.
Right, they can't use it. They can't go.
But-
They can't do anything. You're right.
what's going to be the price increase waiting for another year? It could go up $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
I would highly doubt that. That's what I think all we have to do is get on Vortex's thing, and I think they'll honor this price.
Well, I don't know. I mean, two years ago when we were talking about the water main, we were at 2.2. Now we're at 2.6. I mean, things go up.
So are we talking about putting a hold on the farmer's market too then?
Yeah, we should, right? If we do the splash pad hold, we should put a hold on everything.
That's a grant money, though. That's not taxpayers' money. That's grant money. That's the DDA's problem.
Jill?
My understanding is this has been in the budget for 2 years, going on 3 years. And I think that we can't just keep having it be in the budget. It's in the budget. We've done our homework. We've done due diligence. We've researched it. We've studied it. We've made a proposal. I think that to get on the schedule for this year yet, maybe we're not going to be able to get it opened yet this year because of construction time and all of that. Maybe we're not going to be able to put the nozzles on so the kids can use it until spring. But I think we need to be in a position to put the nozzles on it in the spring when we're way more comfortable with the way things are, and we need to get it opened up. To postpone it for another year, I think sends a horrible message to the community. We've talked about it, and we've talked about it. And I think we owe it to the people to give them something that we've promised them that they're gonna get. And we just need to move forward cautiously, sensibly, and with due diligence. But I think we need to move forward.
Are the rest of our parks open yet?
The parks are, the playgrounds aren't. Correct?
The playground structures are not open yet.
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing that you interact with physically is open.
It's coming. I mean, she's starting to open up things already up north starting Friday. So I think it's just a matter of time and we're going to be open back up.
Traverse City across from Alpena and the UP is opening up.
Roscommon County. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's coming. It's coming soon.
And this isn't
From
going
what I
to get built.
recall in one of the meetings with Vortex, I think she said it would take roughly 2 months to get it built. So,
And they're not gonna start this right away anyway. They probably have other ones to do before. us.
Correct.
like if they start in August, September, it would be get built this year. But like Gio said, we won't be able to use it. Or if it gets built July and August, we might have a few weeks to use it. That's it. But I agree we should move forward with it, yes.
I agree.
I agree.
We got a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Move forward with option one, vortex.
All right, we need a roll call.
Yes.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Eschenbacher,
Yeah,
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hollebeck,
Yep.
Rickwell absent, White,
Yeah.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Moving on to number 7, fire hydrant purchase. Matt?
Yeah, a couple of meetings ago, we talked about the fire hydrant installation at Chippewa Landing Park as part of the council's sort of end of year project list. And we just put a hydrant in someplace else, so we're out. Jeff needs to order one for the Chippewa Landing project, and then he wants to have a couple on hand for the projects we have coming up, but it's a little bit out of the limit for me to approve. So we're here to request for that purchase, and we've got money in the water fund to get that too.
And is he talking 3?
Yeah, it's 3.
Make
It's
the motion-
3 hydrants and 1 extension.
Make the motion to approve this.
I'll support it.
Just
Motion and support for 3 hydrants and extension. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
When these hydrants are ordered, how long does it take to get them?
I'm not sure. They come from East Jordan. I think they put them on a truck and
Oh.
send them right down. So
Or they have a yard outside of Lansing too, that they store a lot of stuff.
yeah, so just depends, I guess. Probably they'll put them on a truck and have them here in a couple days, depending on how much they got going.
Or we send somebody after them.
Or we could send somebody out to get them too.
The one is for Chippewa Landing. It's gonna let the fire trucks fill up water there instead of coming all the way back to town, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Alexis,
Roll call, Eschenbacher,
yeah,
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hollebeck,
Yes.
Rickwell absent, White,
Yeah.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Mayor Green.
yes, motion carried. Number 8, blight mowing, page 57, 58.
Yeah, Blight Mowing Part 2. The last meeting, I believe, the council awarded TLC, who was the only bidder on the project. After I made contact with him to let him know, he backed out because he didn't get the other contract. So
Shocking.
I told him, have a good day and we'll figure it out. And so Jeff asked Chris Eskelson what he would charge us to do it, since he's got the other, since he's mowing the lawns for us anyway. And he gave us $5 cheaper than the previous bid. So it's going to be $60 per 8,000 square foot, plus the $15 per the additional 2,000 square feet. And those will start pretty soon. Since it's been raining a lot lately, the grass is going to get pretty high.
I'll make a motion that we accept that.
I'll second it.
We got a motion and support for the blight mowing. Any further discussion?
I just have one question. Did we ever look into what we're gonna actually charge instead of charging only what the company's charging us? Mayor, do you remember us having that conversation about jacking the price up because we're spending more to get it
the
done?
That might be another motion coming up right after this.
Yeah,
one.
because of, yeah,
Yeah, the finance committee talked about that, so that's a new topic.
All right.
All right, so we need a roll call.
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones, Hollaback,
Yes.
Rickwell, absent, White,
Yes.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Eschenbacher,
Yeah.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Number 9, third quarter financial report, Finance Committee recommendation.
Yeah, earlier this evening, we had a financial committee meeting, and we have elected to bring to the council the third quarter financial report for approval. Is there anybody that has any questions on the third quarter report? Don, you have anything?
No.
Alvin?
No.
I would look for a motion to approve the third quarter financial report.
What, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Support.
We got motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Who seconded it? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yes, you did.
Okay. All right, roll call. Jones, Hollaback,
Yes.
Rickwell, absent, White,
Yes.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Eschenbacher,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Water and sewer rate increases, Finance Committee recommendation.
Yes, also in this meeting this evening earlier, we were discussing the sewer and water rates. We have decided that we are going to instruct our city manager to kind of step out and try to find a company to give us some more information on how we should up our water and city sewer rates, so we can make up a little difference here. We're basically losing money in both, and we need a little information to make a decision on how to go about raising our rates without killing our residents on the water and sewer rates. So that was that part of it. I don't know what we should do with this. Should we table this, Joe, until the next meeting, or
Well,
how should we handle it?
No, we're just instructing our city manager to do some more research and information
Okay.
on it.
If,
There you go.
if I remember right, our big users we're selling to at a loss.
Correct, Don.
Yes.
We are.
And the residents are paying basically for that loss. I think we really, and I hate to push it on businesses, but we got to get them paying at least what it cost us.
Correct.
That's
But
what we're
what
looking
we
at.
really need to do, Don, is figure out how
How to do that without running them off. Correct, I
Yes, there
understand.
you go. Without,
Right.
when they get that water bill, not to scare them.
Right.
Right now wasn't the time to do it with this COVID and everybody losing their jobs and stuff like that. Wasn't the time to raise water and sewer rates, okay?
Right,
In
yeah,
my opinion.
no, I agree.
I thought if our manager could find somebody that can instruct us on how to do this and how much we should do at one time and how we should get this, maybe we raise our tap fees and things like that to try to collect money.
I agree, because if you start raising people's water and sewer and they find out that we're selling it to big businesses at a loss,
Correct.
they're gonna have a fit.
Right. And I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Me
I
neither.
don't particularly don't want to raise the water rate and sewer rate, but we have to.
Right.
Joe, go ahead.
I understand.
And we have to look at our long-term plan too. What sewer mains need replacing, what water mains replacing. We don't have any big,
We're going to
big
have
ticket
work
items.
eventually to have to do.
We have to look at this, look out 5 years,
Right. We're
Well,
going to have
items.
work to have to do eventually because they're going to go bad eventually.
and plan. We have to do some major planning.
Right. So
Okay, Matt?
I guess that's on Matt here, wherever Matt went to.
I'm
Sleep.
Right below you.
Well, I just wanted to make mention, I can do the getting examples by the next meeting, but that process generally is going to take quite a long time. It's like
I
a months
understand
long
that,
thing.
because,
Yeah. So
this isn't going to be something we're going to do in the next 6 weeks. I mean, we got to get people out and getting their bills caught up and things like before we do something like this. You've got time to go out and get your information at.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
You know, that's what we need. We need the information so we can do it in a
Yeah.
fashion that we're not, the guy ain't gonna get his water bill and he's gonna be scared off, because, oh my Lord, it went up $40, or something like that.
Yeah, I just didn't want anybody to get the impression that I'm going to come back in
No,
2 weeks and have a
no,
beautiful
no.
plan for everybody. 'cause
No, and I know you're not, because you have to go out and do the work yourself to get this done.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where that stands tonight.
Okay. Bob, do you want to bring up the other thing about the increasing the rate for administration fee right now?
Yeah, we might as well while we're in here. We had in the same meeting again, this blight mowing of lawns that we have. We have kind of discussed it, and the financial committee has made a recommendation to the full council here that instead of a $20 bill that people pay to get the grass cut, we up the fee to $100.
Plus the mowing fee.
Plus the mowing fee, correct, Don.
Administration fee.
It's administration fee, I guess is what we're gonna call this. It's $100 and the mowing fee.
Is that your motion?
That will be my motion.
And I'll support that.
Okay, we got motion and support to raise the
I'll second.
administration fee to $100. Any further discussion?
Go ahead, Matt.
I know that we have to publish something in the paper once a year advising of the ordinance and things like that. Would it be prudent to do another publication since we're raising it so much?
If this is an ordinance, do we have to have a public hearing?
Well, I don't think it's an ordinance. I think this is technically just a resolution.
Right.
I guess it depends on what the ordinance says. If it says that the rate shall be set by council from time to time by resolution, then that's what this is.
I don't have that in front of me, though.
It wouldn't hurt to publish it, then people would certainly have notice of if you don't mow your lawn, you're gonna pay.
Right? They might think twice about having the city do it because
Just-
now
we
it's more
gotta-
expensive.
We just have to come up with a date to make it effective. That way people can say, well, I didn't, like as of July 1st or July 15th or something.
And you could do that.
You want to amend your motion, Bob?
I'll amend the motion.
Or June 15th, whatever.
Let's give Matt some time here, Don, so he can look up and make sure this is a resolution, not an ordinance.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if this isn't an ordinance, Matt, let's go July 1st. Okay? That's now my motion. And publish it in the paper, at least
Your
once.
support. You change your support, Don?
Yeah, I support what he just said.
Okay, to raise the administration fee to $100 as
Effective
of
July
July
1st.
1st.
And get it published in the paper.
Paper.
Maybe put it on our Facebook City of Carroll page.
Good idea.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
White,
Yeah.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Eschenbacher,
Yep.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hollebeck,
No.
Rickwell absent, Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried.
Well, I have one question. Alexa, who does our Facebook, City of Carroll Facebook page?
The three of us, me, Matt, and Sarah.
Because anymore with today's generation, I think you have to put it in the paper, but if you put it on that page, it's more effective.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
been trying to use Facebook more too. so.
Yeah.
Right up your alley, Alexa.
Okay, number 12, it's county resolution that the county passed.
Oh, I think you missed one.
Yeah, number 11.
Oh, set
That
public
public
hearing.
hearing.
Set public hearing on the budget, proposed budget, not the budget meeting. Any recommendations, Alexis? Want to do it with our next council meeting or before?
Yeah, I think Sarah had a note that said most likely June 1st.
Pardon?
June 1st, she said.
Most likely June 1st. Yeah.
Is that our next scheduled meeting?
Let me check here.
Should be.
Yeah. First Monday in June.
Yeah,
Yes.
6:30?
6:30?
6?
it's fine.
6:30, you said?
We are gonna kind of go over that budget first before we look at this, right?
That's what this is for.
Okay, so let's give ourselves at least an hour in case there's public.
The public and us, yes.
So 6:30.
Yeah,
Okay.
Or do you want 6?
No, 6 hours should be long enough, shouldn't it, Bob?
I would hope so. I mean, we should already know it. If you did any homework, we should already know it. And if you have the questions, you should have to get them out. It's more for the public to ask questions of us than ourselves. We should know
Sarah
it.
also had a note electronically on Zoom or at City Hall.
At City Hall.
Yes, I believe at City Hall, not on Zoom.
It depends on what the executive order is,
Well-
because right now the Zoom requirements are till June 30th.
June 30th, yes. We could do it in the fire station. There's plenty of room.
Yes.
That would work for me, like we did the last one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Works for me.
Matt's right, that the Zoom has to go till June 30th for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but we could go in the fire hall and be 6 foot away, can't we?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it there then, because we're talking way too much money and too many things and too many variables.
Yep.
Too many people lacking.
Is that all right with you, Tish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You're looking really comfortable, Tish.
I'm not, I promise.
Move on to number 12.
Oh, okay.
We need a motion.
Oh, we need a motion to set the meeting?
Yes.
I'll make the motion to set a public hearing, June 1st at 6:30 for the public
Support.
at the fire station.
We got motion and support. Alexis?
Who seconded that? Was it Tisha?
I did, but so did Alvin, I think. So
Okay.
either one. Oh, it wasn't Alvin. I don't know
It was me,
who
but
it
give
was
to Tisha.
then.
Tisha, you're looking pretty comfortable there, girl.
I'm not, I promise.
All right, roll call. Zabit,
Yes.
Aschenbecker,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hallebeck,
Yes.
Rickwalt absent, White,
Yes.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Number 12, county resolution. I don't know if everybody had time. I tried to get it out to everybody, a copy of it, what the county passed. Don, you want to fill us in on it?
Well, it's called Moving Tuscola County Forward. It's a proposal 2020-04, basically saying, I guess I'll try to explain it the best way I can. The small business owners, sitting around thinking, what should I do? Should I go out of business? Should I liquidate or what? And basically this resolution is saying, no, don't go out of business. Don't liquidate. Open if that's what you have to do, and Tuscola County will support you. They're not going to try to, they want to get enough support where you're not going to be prosecuted for trying to support your business. They look at it as the businesses can operate safely. Somebody that doesn't want to go in that business doesn't have to, but if somebody wants to, they're allowed to. So that was the resolution, and they're just basically asking for support from all the townships and cities and municipalities. And I think, Joe, you sent a copy to everybody,
Yes.
correct?
The resolution is asking the governor to provide information.
Right.
They have seven points of questions they're asking for information from the governor.
I kind of messed up and I give you my copy, Joe, so I don't have a copy of it anymore.
Issue You were at the county meeting when they did it?
Was I?
No,
No,
Tisha, I think she said she was there.
No, but I got I saw um,
The
I saw the
minutes.
resolution when they first sent it out.
Okay,
So I've read the whole resolution. It's very in depth. It doesn't have a lot of teeth unless the prosecutor and the sheriff are on board, which I don't see why ours wouldn't be.
I talked to one of the commissioners, and from what I understand, is they're on board also. But
Well,
that's nothing in writing.
Well, it sounded, Matt, like from one of the emails that you sent before, weeks ago, that the prosecutor wasn't real
Thrilled about doing all this.
No.
keen on following through with prosecuting any of these.
Yeah,
Well, because they're misdemeanor offenses, it's.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
can't speak for the prosecutor's office, but I just observing and talking to the chief. Their goal is more education and explaining and trying to explain what the executive order means and what it's supposed to be accomplishing. But they are only really kind of enforcing it if people really push a little bit too far. I guess you could explain it, and that's. I did receive an email that was sent around from the Prosecutors Association of Michigan saying basically that the executive order is nice, but they are still required to enforce the law if push comes to shove. And since the Attorney General has said that the executive order has the force of law, technically the resolution is in violation of the law, and that
Which
if they have to, they will still enforce it.
I don't understand that really, but okay.
Until a judge says it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And 17 lawsuits later, I'm sure we'll find out whether it does or not. But yeah, this is I think all along cities and counties and other municipalities were intended to kind of make their own rules and kind of set their own boundaries and set their own limits on what could and couldn't happen and timelines. And I've had people in the community ask me, so are we going to get a curfew? Are we going to get a, so people have asked those kinds of questions. But when it comes to businesses, I think, people just want to know if there's going to be anything left downtown. So I think
If it goes on much longer, there won't be.
Right.
In my opinion.
So that's what I think. Supporting this kind of resolution would be a significant step for us. Putting, the city of Caro on something like this.
from what I understand, they're just asking us to
Support the resolution.
their
Correct.
resolution, not for us to make up
Right.
our own
Well,
resolution.
either way,
What?
either way, I would support it.
Yes.
Is that your motion then, Tish?
Sure.
I'll second her
To
motion.
support the county's resolution, absolutely.
Then I'll support your motion then, Tish.
No.
Do you need the number in there, Don?
Yes, do need the number 2020-04.
All right, you added the number, so that's still our motion and support. Thank you, Todd.
Absolutely.
And they will need something from the city saying that we support
And
it.
a roll call because it's a resolution.
Yes.
Right.
Any further questions? Okay.
Roll call, Eschenbacher,
Yeah.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hollaback,
Yes.
Rickwell absent, White,
Jill, where are you?
I guess.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Mayor Green.
Yes, motion carried. Items pending table. First reading of amended medical marijuana ordinance and to set public hearing. We have questions on if it should be 1,000 feet. We can do nothing and leave our ordinance the way it is. Or like they said the last time, if we pass this, we're in violation of our own ordinance already. Or we could change it instead of 1,000 feet to 500 feet, because a lot of daycares and stuff are in churches.
Matt?
Churches is 500 feet. Okay, Matt?
I just wanted to answer the question that council had from last time. I asked the chief to measure from, the way they do it is from outside wall to outside wall. And oddly enough, they just use Google Maps apparently. But the calculation that they got was 749 feet, 749.76 feet from the daycare center to the new premier provisioning location, just as a piece of information as you go forward tonight.
So it sounds like we need to make the amendment of 500 feet,
Better make it. That would help out a lot, yeah.
right?
Or the other option would be to do nothing. So what we, if that's, people are agreeable to that, we can make them reading of the first reading of it, 500 feet, and then just set the public hearing. That'd be one option. Or another option, like I said, is do nothing with our ordinance, just leave it the way it is. What are your wishes?
I gotta go with the 500 feet, Joe, because if you go to 1,000 feet, like you said, we're already breaking our ordinance, and we have to let Premier at least try to get in that building. I mean, they already moved once for us. I'm not gonna make them do it again.
Yes,
And I don't think anybody can complain for 500 feet. I mean, if it's 500 feet away, I think that's plenty far enough. So my motion would be it's 500 feet. And that's
you mean have the first reading of it with 500 feet?
Yeah, first reading of 500 feet.
Is there
I'll
support to
support
that?
it.
We got motion and support. First reading of ordinance, 500 feet from a state licensed daycare.
I have a question.
Sure.
It stays 1,000 feet from a school and 500 from a church, right?
Yes,
This just changes the daycare portion, yeah?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the 1,000 feet for the school is actually a state
That's
mandated thing.
state law, right?
Yeah, that's the state law, Tish.
Okay.
And the 500 feet from a church too is.
It's state law.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Any further discussion?
Now, as long as it's 500 feet, because we can't be breaking our own ordinance.
Okay, roll call vote.
Don Hall, you seconded that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Eschenbacher,
Yeah.
Hall,
Yes.
Jones, Hollaback,
Yes.
Rickwell, absent, White,
Yeah.
Zavit,
Yes.
Mayor
Motion
Green.
Yes, motion carried. Next step is to set the date for the public hearing. Would next meeting be sufficient or?
Well, we already got the other,
We have to put a notice out.
right. We already set the finance before next meeting.
Oh, this would be right in the meeting.
Oh, in the
Has
meeting.
to be in the meeting.
It'd be right in the meeting.
Yeah,
Is that enough time to get the notice out, Alexis? The next meeting?
Oh,
I
It's 2 weeks. Should be.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
should be.
we
We're
should
doing
be
it
able
for
to.
finance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's 2 weeks.
You want
Yeah,
to
we should be able to.
make a motion to that, somebody?
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
Got motion and support for the public hearing for during our next meeting, June 1, not July.
June 1st. Did we give a time? 7:30 or?
Right, yes,
That'd be
7:30.
right at the meeting, yep.
Okay. All right. Roll call on that.
Yeah.
Eschenbacher,
Boy, I started a lot, yes.
Hall,
Yeah.
Jones Hallebeck,
Yes.
Rickwell absent, White,
Yeah.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Mayor Green.
Yes. Next item, committee reports.
I'm gonna have to duck out, you guys. Sorry.
Okay,
He's gone.
Jill, you want to fill us in on the Parks and Recs? What else was covered? I mean,
Well, the only other thing we talked about was the dog park. And I think I guess I was we've been to so many meetings lately, I'm confused as to what's been decided and what hasn't been finalized. But our recommendation, the Parks and Rec recommendation to the council is the placement of the dog park to be at Chippewa Landing. And what we talked about getting a price on was a 5-foot powder coated, black powder coated chain link fence. And we went with the 5-foot because the different research that's been done on the dog park was some were 4 feet, some were 5 feet, and nobody had a real reason as to why they went with one or the other. And we just decided that with the location of it and deer and all of that, if we were gonna err, we would err on the side of caution and go with the little bit higher one. So we have the location picked out behind the sledding hill. And then the 5-foot height and the black powder coated chain link fence. So I'm not sure where we are with that as far as getting council's approval for that, or I'm not sure where we are. If you could help me with that, Mayor.
We need to put it on next meeting's agenda, correct, Joe?
yes, and I see Matt with the Community Foundation. Did you get that into them about trying to get that grant money from them for the dog park?
Yeah, it went to them, but we haven't heard back yet.
Yes.
And I've
So
also,
we're
I
trying to
have,
use that grant money from the Community Foundation too.
yep, and
Right.
I'm meeting somebody out there from a fence company tomorrow afternoon. They're gonna walk it and take a look at it too. So,
Yes, is that the one from Bay City?
I don't remember what it was. I went out and with the new dimensions, I contacted a bunch of folks to get quotes.
Okay,
Matt, are they gonna give a quote on a 4-foot and a 5-foot or just a 5-foot?
It's just a 5-foot
Okay.
at this point. Yeah. Yeah. This was post Park and Rec meeting. So I kind of figured I would just go with that, but
Gotcha.
Thank you.
So are we posting this in the newspaper for bids, or are you just gonna call selected ones and have them bid it?
I just found the ones that were, I think I contacted like 4 or 5, and I picked them randomly. I Googled it, and I think one was one that Joe had mentioned, that the mayor had mentioned, and then the other ones were just random fence companies, just to see what we could get back from them, because the one that we got was, I think it was 12,000, Mr. Mayor?
12, 13,000, pushing 13.
About 13, so I definitely
He was
wanted to check
out
around a little bit.
FedEx.
Yeah.
And then I also talked to Matt Kirk. He does fencing too, but he said he couldn't get to it until if we're no big hurry until late August or something to get to it. If we want it sooner, he's booked up. So depends if you want a price from him for later on in the year or not. Depends how fast we want to move on it. He's one local guy I know that does landscaping and fencing. And if anybody else knows any other one, we can help out Matt on that too.
Do you have a thought, Alvin?
Yeah, I know someone that does fencing, commercial fencing.
Yes,
Local?
Yeah, he lives in Millington.
Okay.
yes.
Certainly somebody that we should,
You want to get his number to Matt, and maybe Matt can give him a shout?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
yeah, that'd be great.
Because that's something we would like to move on, if we can move on it quickly, you know, have something done this summer. People
Yeah.
use.
Well, yeah, so let's get something done, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see about getting this place and get it back and see where we
I
can go
agree.
from there. I mean,
And
even if Matt doesn't get this grant money, this 9,000, we can still do it. And if we get the grant money, that we'll just put it towards something, else.
yeah,
Or pay
this
it back
grant money.
ourselves.
We had this
We
grant
have to
money
pay
once for
ourselves
something
back.
else. Now we're trying to switch it.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Parks or
Good.
Only
okay.
other thing about Parks and Recs, I remember us talking about, that the location would be for the splash pad where the tennis courts are, and our city crews, we figured could demo those.
Yeah, I don't see why they can't.
Yeah,
Asphalt's only a couple inches thick.
but then the other studies we had to do is find out where the water main is and stuff like that, and look at that too.
Right.
If we were had to get water main to them, and then
the
also
sewer out of
get
that.
power too, yeah.
And there's a storm drain in the bottom of that hole, right?
Yeah, but we're going up by there's storm
Yeah, but we
drain.
can still run it. Yeah,
We have to have the outflow, the storm drain for the outflow too, yeah.
right. And power.
Yeah, and power.
Oh, it should be right there in that building.
Power's there
Yeah,
someplace.
everything's right there.
It's all right within reason.
Yep.
Yes,
The light posts are there, there's gotta be power.
yes. Okay, any other things, Jill?
I think that was it for Parks and Rec. Are you thinking of something that I'm forgetting?
No,
Okay. So we'll get the dog park on the agenda for the next meeting, and hopefully move forward quickly with that and have a spot for the dogs to play this summer.
By then, that gives enough time, Matt, to get the prices together, right? Estimates,
or at least a good start on it, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I hope so. But one thing I have noticed, contractors are moving a little slow right now because they're all
Right.
backed up.
Right.
It is what it is, Matt. Just do the best you can and get as many as you can, and we'll go from there.
Some are backed up. I just getting a metal roof put on. I thought maybe by the end of August, September. He said, no, I can do it in 2 weeks as soon as I get the steel there. Because he has some big jobs and the other people are holding off.
Right.
So it depends on the other people.
At least you could get one to call.
People
At least
holding
you could get
off
one
on
to call you
jobs.
back, Joe. I can't even get one to call me back.
So what was going on at the planning commission, Alvin?
This,
That's not until tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
I know, I was just talking about the last one.
I wasn't there, and you already know that.
I forgot, seriously.
Yeah.
I did.
Thanks, Don.
No, I'm serious, I did forget. Speaking
It's
of that,
tomorrow at
Alexa, can you send me
6:30.
that Zoom information for that meeting tomorrow?
yeah.
Please.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
I'll email that.
Libby?
Thank you.
Did we get Alvin's email situation taken care of, Alexis?
I am not sure if Sarah did or not.
Sarah sent me some emails, but she just sent me the wrong meeting ID for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Well, in the email, there was 2 IDs, one for the finance and then one for this one.
Oh, I must not have caught that.
I don't know, I can't remember yet.
Okay. Mayor's report. Not much. They're sat in on that culvert to state. They're planning on a fall start construction. And they're going bidding out building one and 106. They're bidding out, and that's going to get started next month or so, the way it sounds.
On what?
I'm tearing down two of the buildings
For
out
some
at the
demo.
state.
Oh, okay.
Approval.
Gotcha.
And construction for the hospital late this fall. They were sending it out to bids. So if that means anything, you know how they are, but they are sending it out to bid.
When's the farmer's market gonna start?
Bids are due tomorrow, is it?
Yep, we're doing a Zoom bid opening tomorrow at, I want to say 10.
Is that for the whole project or the demolition or
Yes,
Whole project.
the whole project?
whole
Any
project. Yep.
idea when Elmer Street's gonna start?
June 1st is what the contractor is telling us. So we have a pre-bid meeting on Thursday morning, or a
Okay,
pre-construction meeting on
Okay.
Thursday morning.
so it is close then.
Yep.
Okay,
What about Boom, the police building?
I talked to the project manager today, actually, and they don't have a scheduled yet because they had some backed up projects that they're working on that they're starting like this week. And they are waiting on pricing from subcontractors to get everything lined up. So once I know, I will advise, but I'm just waiting on them.
Let's just keep pushing them.
Yep.
Once all these projects get started, Caro's really gonna be moving and shaking if you think about all the little different areas of the community that are gonna get something done to them. That's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can I just hope she leaves some of the food establishments, these other stores open up. Because if you go to Saginaw and stuff, Menards, all these big stores, they're packed with people.
Yep.
They're booming.
Yeah, it's not making much sense.
Oh, she shut the little guys down and like you said, Menards and Walmart and Home Depot and everybody's wide open.
The grocery stores, everybody's going out and doing stuff, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Matt?
Are we on to my comments now?
Yes.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh,
Your turn.
I've just been working on a lot of the projects we've been talking about, working with Mike over at Rowe on the Elmer Street project, the Caro Center, working on the farmer's market, monitoring the COVID situation as closely as I can. I attended a webinar today with Treasury. They're updating their assumptions day by day. The state's financial conference was on Friday, so there's a little bit more information about our budgetary situation. It's not quite as bad as we thought, but it's going to be about a 3-year impact that kind of gradually gets better as it moves forward, according to their projections at the moment based on the economy. I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting. I've been on webinars, various places. Been coming into the office as much as I need to. I'll be there tomorrow as well. We walked the potential sidewalk sites, Mr. Mayor, Mike Carpenter and I, so we've got good information on those. Hopefully that'll be another small project that'll be going on by the end of the year that we can get finished up. And we'll probably bid that out soon once Mike gets those quantities and stuff to us.
What sidewalks?
The sidewalks we talked about a couple weeks ago in front of Macomb Middle School, the walkway at Chippewa Landing Park, and then there's one right across from Atwood Park that is a property that the city owns. We've got some sidewalk there that we're proposing to put in as well.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about sidewalk repair.
No, the goal was to try and have these done this fiscal year yet.
Yep.
So because we have so much sidewalk money left over, so we have to move on that real fast.
And that's about it. Just keeping up with everything as much as we can, and
Everybody's still there?
Yeah,
We're
we're
here.
here. We're waiting for whoever.
Where are we at on sidewalk?
And then I think recommend the ones where we did that grinding, if there's any still bad slabs in all those sections, to do those too. You know, we have to lay out of it and give it to Matt and Jeff to look at. Well, what we walked the other year on sidewalks.
Was there a question for me? My internet dropped for a second there.
Oh, what we were just saying about that sidewalk repair, the goal was to try and get that out of this fiscal year's budget yet.
Yeah.
You know, because we have quite a chunk of money left over in sidewalks for this fiscal year yet.
Yeah,
So we have to move on that real fast.
yeah, with that $250,000 for the next fiscal year too, we'll probably be looking for a pretty big project as well.
Yes. Okay, anything else, Matt?
Oh, that's it.
I got a question. Are we going to bring all the employees back next week?
I'm thinking June 1st is probably the best bet because we've got to get some policies in place for masks, and we got to mark the floors with 6-foot tape and all that stuff. So we got some work to do. Most of the employees in the office have been working one day or another anyway. So
What's DPW fall under? Because I know she said construction started on the 7th. Landscaping started, I forget when. What's DPW guys fall under?
well, since we're under a state of emergency, their contract gives them some comp time regardless of how we consider them. So we're trying to cut down on comp time expenditures. So we've got them on an on-call rotation, but when the big projects come up, they've been working anyway. So there really hasn't been a whole lot that they've dropped. So they're still doing things.
What I'm hearing is, why do we have so many people if we're getting along with part-time people right now, you know? Why do we have to staff, you know?
Well, I think there's some seasonal stuff that hasn't started yet that they'll be working on. That'll make them busy. And there's been a couple of weeks where they've all been working, and I think they've even got some overtime on occasion. So there's
That's what I
work,
mean.
but it's just like anything else, it's on and off.
That's what I mean. We've been having them back on projects. Why not just say back full-time now? You know, that'd be my recommendation.
Well, we're trying to save that comp time because they get 50% of the hours that they work in their comp bank. So we're going to just keep racking it up. And right now we've got, I think the analysis showed we got $6,000 or $7,000 worth of comp time built up just from COVID-19.
That means comp time means they can take off more time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're losing, how many hours did you say? How many hours do they have racked up?
Well, the total cost is about $6,000. I think Alexis, do you remember offhand how many hours they
I
got?
don't remember the exact, but I did payroll today, and I know some of the wastewater is getting 40 hours of comp every pay. I think they had 3 guys there. So then you have 40 hours of comp each person that works 80 hours. And then we have 6 DPW guys, so you bring those in, and then, you know, depending how long they work too, they get, you know, if they only come in for 2 hours, they get 1 hour comp. But if they're working 8 hours every day, then they're gonna bank in a 2-week period 40 hours comp time.
That's more vacation time that we see them, like at the sewer plant, they can be isolated apart, even in City Hall, everybody's in their own office. You know, everybody can be 6 feet apart. I see no reason why we can't have them back this week or next week. on their regular schedules. You know, like Don said, how much farther can you be if you're sitting in a sweeper, you know, getting the streets clean and stuff, you know? The DPW, you know, they just drive separate. And, you know, I feel we should, other cities never even put their people off, make them work from home. They still working, you know.
Some did, some
Counties
didn't.
and stuff, they're all working like normal.
Mhm.
What do you guys, other people think about it?
I think there's no reason they can't go back to work. Like you say, they work the street sweepers, one guy in the truck, DPW, everybody drives separately. They like to drive that way anyways, how it looks from the community. We need to get going.
We need to get stuff done, yes.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know we were giving them comp time either. That's one thing I didn't know,
Yeah. That's in their contract.
but that's giving them bonus. So I feel we're giving them, we're going to be losing all those hours, all that vacation time all this summer now.
Wait, the more hours they work, the more comp time they're getting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
So
we're
it's
under a
bad
state
for
of
'em to-
emergency.
So it's bad for them to go to work right now because it's gonna cost us a ton in comp time.
It's costing us money, yes.
Right, so you want them to go back to work, but what I'm understanding is if they go back to work, they even get
No,
extra
we just
comp time.
cancel our state of emergency.
We can't,
It's the state, it's the
Yes, we
state's
can.
emergency.
the state's emergency.
How are these counties and other people doing it? Having other people working?
They probably have a different contract that we've got, but since there's a state of emergency in the state, they are getting comp time for every hour they work, they get
No.
50%. Well, and that's AFSCME.
We declared the state of emergency for Caro, right? We
No,
declared
Governor
the state of
Whitmer declared a state of
Caro.
emergency for the whole state.
No, then we declared it for
Oh, we
Caro
did?
too. Yes, right, Matt?
Well, we didn't technically declare it. We fell under the emergency for the state. I don't think
How are
Tuscola
these other-
County even did it either. I think we just fell under the state emergency declaration.
I know the county gets paid, they don't work, when they work, they get paid and they get their comp time too, just like our city workers do. If they're home, they're being paid. That's
They're being paid.
that's all the county drivers, I mean.
So I understand now. I didn't before, but I understand now. So, yeah, we don't want them to work because for every hour they work, they're getting comp time, and that means, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so
So they
so
go
that's
back
why
to
my
work.
proposal is to come back June 1st when the executive order ends. And then the
Or-
emergency is supposed to be over then.
Or if it doesn't end late,
Right.
or if it doesn't end, lay everybody off. You know, that's the other option. Maybe that would have been our best way to lay the people off or furlough them, I mean.
But we
Because
can
it's
look,
costing us a pile of money.
yeah, we can look into those options, yeah.
Well, there ain't no sense in now. I mean, I'm thinking
No,
June 1st, we're gonna,
well, I
Well,
mean,
The
if she's
complication with laying
extending it,
people off was that we still need people on a case. We've been having just about every single employee come in and do something. The workload hasn't gone away, and so when they come in, they do it, and then they go home. So laying people off would just pile things up.
well, we just contract stuff out and never show us we don't need as many employees as we have. You know, do we have too many employees? That's what it's showing me. You know, if things are getting done and by with just part-time workers, you know,
Well, not everything is getting done. So, we're going by the executive order. So only things that are like absolutely required to support life and protect people. That's the essential workers. So yes, we're doing the DPW stuff, but a lot of their daily things that they don't necessarily need to do, they're not doing. Same thing in the office. So it's,
Like
once we
running-
get back to work, there's still work to be done and it is piling up, but
like running the sewer plant is essential. You just can't
Yes.
shut that down.
Right.
So why aren't those people there full-time?
they're
You know.
rotating in and out. They
Why
have
not
three
all of
guys
them
there
there
and one guy
full-time?
off.
See, I totally disagree with what we're doing now. from what I hear.
Should have kept
And
seniority on
I
and
thought
laid the other
we-
guy off.
What?
Should have kept the seniority and laid the other guy off.
Yeah,
Made one guy
or
40 hours a
furlough them,
week.
yeah.
And if he's essential, does he fall under the comp time with the contract?
Everybody
or just
does under
contract.
that
Everybody
contract.
does.
Yeah.
Because I see us being short-staffed the rest of the year once this is lifted. Because if everybody has another 4 or 5 weeks vacation on top of the vacation they have, you know, we're going to be hurting.
Is there anything in your contract that prohibits them from using all their vacation at one time?
They have to use it or lose it.
They have to use it or lose
They
it.
have to use. So we will be hurting.
And
These projects that we got going on, we're going to be shorthanded on.
And there's also a provision in the personnel policy that allows them to ask for payouts of all of their comp time.
So can they be paid out without using it?
Or they have to ask for it.
They have to ask for it 30 days in advance, and then we have to pay them out. And technically, they're supposed to only be allowed to carry 40 hours, but apparently that's never been enforced. So we have employees with a lot of comp time stacked up. So if we lay them off, technically we would, and I may be wrong, and Alexis, you can correct me, but if we lay someone off, I think we got to pay them out everything they're owed.
I am not sure on that.
So we'd have to look into that too, because
Right.
that might cost us a
Mhm.
bundle.
See, layoff, you don't have to call a person back. Furlough, if you furlough a person, if you lay a person off, they lose all the medical benefits.
Right.
If you furlough somebody, they maintain their benefits, medical, but when we call them back, they have to pay their portion back. Their 20% each paycheck they have to pay back because we've been carrying their medical when we do a furlough.
So
This is definitely a good lesson for the city to take and make sure that when they come back up for contract, some of this stuff's taken out of their contract.
so
That
this
was
comp,
added in last contract.
so this comp for every hour they work, what do they get in the comp?
They get 50% of that hour.
50%, so a half hour.
Yeah.
Well, most of them are underpaid anyway, I guess. I mean, that's just one way of looking at it.
Well, and another thing
Well,
too
Jill,
is-
some of them only get $15 an hour. I mean, you can go to Wendy's and make 11, you know?
Yeah, my intention is to try to claim the comp time expense under the federal emergency stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
So we
my
can
intention.
get that
It might get denied,
refunded.
but at least it's worth a try.
Yeah, we're keeping track of it.
Yeah.
So
Okay, is there anything else for Matt? I think we beat on him enough.
I can take it.
I don't know. Your face was getting pretty red there. No, I'm just joking.
This is a lesson for all of us.
Yes. Well, that's when you kept saying put them to work, and I was listening to them, and he kept saying they're getting furloughed hours. I'm like, wait a minute, because I was with you. Let's get them to work, but now they're getting a bunch of furloughed hours. Now I understand why they're not working.
Yeah.
That was never explained. I don't know, Jill. You didn't probably know. I didn't know.
Either.
Joe, you didn't know.
But like I know up north, the county employees are working normal and they're mad at the other people where they're not working, you know.
We'll just say, Matthew, we were underinformed.
Okay,
We didn't
that's
know
my
that.
bad. That's my bad.
Because we were all trying to figure out why they weren't working.
Yeah, honestly,
I know
right
I
now,
was. I know Joe was.
It's honestly less expensive to pay them to stay home than it is to bring them into work, which is counterintuitive
Understand
to
that now.
everything I understand, but that's the way their contract is.
Well, I understand that now.
Yeah.
Okay, Alexis.
All right, Sarah's report. Due to the extension of the stay-home executive order, the Planning Commission's meeting on May 19th was revised to be a Zoom meeting. Revised notices for the public hearing on the special condition use for Premier Provisioning were sent out immediately after the extension was announced to property owners and publication. Published notice for public hearing on ordinance 476. Applications were accepted until May 11th for the 3 DDA seasonal positions and DPW seasonal position. She continued working on the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. She analyzed water and sewer rate increases and completed the third quarter financials.
Did we get any applications for the season?
Yes, I'm not sure how many we got. Sarah was taking those in, but I know we did get some.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Alexis? Okay, move on to additional public comment. Any additional public comment?
Yeah, Joe.
I'd like to say just thank you to the council for going ahead with the splash pad. I really appreciate it. There were a couple changes that we might want to make to that. I don't know when we get to that area. We kind of had talked about it together as a committee, but I really appreciate the fact that you're going forward and that you took our advice.
Thank you. Any additional public comment?
Hi, this is
Any-
Tom. I just want to echo Tanya's statement. As a longtime member of the Parks and Rec Committee, I appreciate your work tonight, both on the splash pad and the dog park. So thank you very much.
I want to thank you for all the work you did too, Shane. Shane did a lot of research on everything.
He sure did.
He knows those specs forward and backwards.
Bless his heart.
I think I heard Vortex wants to put him to work.
There we go, a whole new career I didn't even know about. So
Right, right.
Any additional public comments from the council?
Mr. Mayor.
I have something. Oh, so is Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, we have a caller on the phone who's got their hand up. Alexis, I
Okay.
don't know if you saw that.
Okay. Yeah. Let me unmute.
Okay. Herb Shirty.
Yes,
And
sir.
I don't know whether it's under your grass contract or whether it is under the public works, but the grass at the parking lot across from the American Legion behind the archery shop, the grass has got so high that it's went to seed. Think there should be something done. It should be cut. Whether the public service or whether the DPW does it or private contractor, but it's looking pretty shabby.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Any other? Don or?
Yeah, I do have something, and I don't know. I wanna bring it up for maybe one of the meetings coming up in the future. I know this November, some of the board members are probably up for re-election, and I know there's a few that stuck on this. Oh, are you current on your taxes? But what about? Why shouldn't we have one of the stipulations to be on the city council is that you are a taxpayer? Period. You have a stake in Caro. Not whether if you live here, do you pay your taxes? Let's just make it, you have to be a taxpayer. You have to have a stake in Caro. Joe Blow renting a house down the street can't be on the council member 6 months later, raise tax, raise stuff, and then move away. I think it should be, we should have that. We should make an amendment that you have to be a taxpayer in the city. Just my opinion.
I'm pretty sure that's in our charter. We would have to do a charter change. It's not a.
Well, what do we got to do to change it? Because I think that should be one of the, I don't know if anybody else is with me, but that's just my thought.
That's a whole, if it's in our charter, it takes a whole charter amendment and it has to go to the vote of the people. if I recall right. We
And
can check,
you'd think that would already be in there.
we can look into it. I'm pretty sure to run, it's in there. I'm pretty sure you just had to live so long a resident in Caro and have your voting here, be able to run for election, if I
So
recall.
then why is current taxes an issue then?
Pardon?
Then why should your taxes be an issue then?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, mine are current.
yeah.
I didn't. Well, I'm just saying, I mean,
I agree with you, Don.
thank you.
Are there any other comments? If you want to go out to eat, you can go to Traverse City or Alpena or Mackinac this weekend.
Hope Lake is in Roscommon County, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
Roscommon County's open. We go to Hope Lake.
you can go out to eat any place up there. You only have 25% capacity.
50%, she said.
50? Okay.
Yep. But also, she said, who's going to enforce it?
Nobody.
Can't spend the
Nobody.
night, so just go.
Okay, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll support that, sir.
Okay,
Hey,
roll
before
call
we
vote.
do that, Mayor Green, I will not be here for the next meeting.
Okay,
Or Monday the 1st, I will be out of town.
Oh, can I
You got
ask
a
a
computer.
question about Monday the 1st?
What's that?
Can I ask a question about Monday the 1st? If the finance committee meeting's gonna be at City Hall in the fire station, then we're all gonna leave that meeting and go home to get on Zoom for the council meeting?
True.
we were talking to have the council meeting there too,
Okay,
if we can, yes.
okay.
Okay, Alexis? Roll call
Alright.
vote.
Roll call. Hall,
Yes.
Jones Hallebeck is absent. Oh. Rickwell absent. White,
Yes.
Zavitz,
Yes.
Eschenbacher,
Yeah.
Mayor Green.
Yes. Want to thank everybody for this evening, and all the visitors too. Have a good evening.
You too, Joe.
You
Joe,
too.
have a good evening.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys all.